I'm about to make dinner and it's going to be an amazingly healthy salad I wanted to share with you guys. So it's going to be made of spinach, potato, red onion, beet, avocado, garlic, kale, and some raw zucchini noodles. And I've got everything set out here and I'm just going to get started. So the first step is putting my hair up, because the worst thing is when you make dinner, especially for someone else, and then as you're eating you find a hair. It's very embarrassing, very faux pas. So I've got my hair secure. I'm going to be having some tea with dinner. So I steeped in warm water some green tea and I put a little bit of organic stevia extract in there. And to it I'm going to be adding a few tablespoons of black chia seeds. And these are going to add a lot of protein and a little bit of fiber, and it's good for fullness factor. So chia seeds are amazing. You can add them to cereal, salad, any drink, smoothies, and they're awesome, especially for working out. And what they do is they absorb the water or the liquid, and they are going to be gelling up. They're kind of like a tapioca, and they become very, very jelly, and people use them to make pudding, and they're going to expand a lot, and you won't even really notice that you're drinking them. At the moment, they're kind of like a mix between a poppy seed or maybe a sesame in texture, but once they are in the water for about 10 minutes, they're going to totally become like a gelatinous, delicious. So that's what it looks like, and they might clump a little bit. You can just go ahead and keep agitating it to get them to not settle, and it doesn't take very long. These can last, when you gel your chia seeds, in the fridge for about, I would say, a week and a half. And the reason I used warm water for the tea and not hot water is because I didn't want to kill the antioxidants. I find that when you use boiling water, it reduces some of the benefits. You don't want to kill your tea, you just want to get the flavor to come out. So I'm going to set that aside because I no longer need it, and I'll give it a little, and it's just amazingly cool looking. So I've got my tea steeping. The next step is definitely grating the garlic, because garlic needs to sit for a while. It is okay, I guess, if you just use it right off the bat, but when you cut garlic or you mince it or you grate it or whatever, it's good to let it kind of rest for 10 to 15 minutes, and that will release beneficial enzymes. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cloves going. You guys all know the drill with this. I don't have quite enough workspace here, but we're going to make it happen. Okay, so you take your clove, put it on the cutting board, take your knife flat, horizontal to the ground, just give it a whack, and that will separate the garlic a little bit. And then from that point, you can just go ahead and either slice it up. I prefer to grate it just to get the flavor kind of throughout the salad. I don't want like big clumps of garlic. That doesn't sound appealing to me. So I will just be using my quick grater. Garlic is amazingly good for you. It's really, really good for your blood. It's good for your skin. It's anti-inflammatory, and it's full of amazing things that will help you fight cancer, and it helps you not get sick in the wintertime. And this is like my awesome autumn salad where the weather's just starting to change and I find that I need a little bit more warmth to what I'm eating. So I'm going to go through and take out all the garlic. I'm going to do this with maybe 5 cloves or so, and then I will be letting that rest while I make everything else. The next step is to peel up my zucchini noodle, because they are going to need to rest as well. So I'm just going to take my julienne peeler and go through this as quickly as I can, get these noodles going. And in order to soften them up, I'm going to be adding them in a jar with a little bit of salt, and they will just rest while I am cooking the potatoes and the onions. And this salad is mostly raw. It's got a little bit of warmth because of the season, because it's just what I'm in the mood for, and I love caramelized onion. I'm just going to need a little bit of oil. I'm going to blanch the potatoes momentarily with the beets and then maybe fry those up a little bit as well, but not too much oil, just enough to make it fatty and delicious, but not overdoing it. Now that I've got my zucchini noodles, I'm just going to stick them in this jar here. And I'm going to pour on a little bit of salt, and I've got my pink Himalayan salt. It's much healthier than normal cheapo table salt. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of a stir. And if I had lemon in the house right now, I would be putting that on, but unfortunately I am out. I used all of it on my pasta earlier. But yeah, this will be enough, so I'm just going to set that aside and then do a quick chop of the beets and the potatoes. And then I'm going to do a really rough chop, I guess I can do that now, of the kale. That's going to be thrown in with the spinach. And oh man, these are just all of the most incredible superfoods known to man. The only additions that I wish I had the foresight to have soaked my black beans, that would have been awesome in here. Maybe I could make some quinoa, that would be awesome, just to up the protein factor. So now I'm going to finish mincing my third and final potato, and it doesn't really matter how big your slices are because you just want to try to get them uniform and make sure that they cook all the way through, but besides that it really does not matter. And I'm going to do the same thing to my beet and my onion, and I'm going to use a high heat coconut oil because one thing that you never want to do is cook with olive oil. I know that a lot of chefs recommend it. It's kind of the go-to like health oil, but olive oil isn't meant for high heat at all. It's actually not meant for any heat. It has a very low smoke point and it's carcinogenic when you heat it. So olive oil is great for dipping in with breads or balsamic vinegar or maybe putting on a salad or on your noodles once they've cooled off, but you don't want to cook with it. There are much better options. You should look into it. I personally like sunflower seed oil, grapeseed oil, or coconut oil. Those are my go-tos. So I'm going to chop up my beet very quickly. And I've just made the decision that I'm not going to fry the beet. I'm going to leave it raw because beets are delicious and they don't need any kind of preparation besides just getting them into your salad. So I will be sauteing the onion and the potato, but the beet doesn't need it. Okay. I'm going to try not to get any on my clothes. Beet stains. It's a beautiful color. You can use it for dyeing different fabrics or paper, craft project like that, and you don't want to get it on your clothes for that reason. This beautiful color will stain your hands for a little while, definitely your clothes. So I'm going to get this kind of finely chopped since it's going in the salad straight raw. And okay. Beets are delicious. I really love them. Some people are not a fan. I think that they are so healthy and so good. They are sweet. They taste like a fruit, really. They're so good. I love to dehydrate them, eat them raw. Sometimes I'll steam them. But yeah, don't shy away from beets. You can also eat the beet greens. If you take the tops and you just saute them a little bit, they are delicious. So yeah, it's just this amazing multi-use health food. I'm going to throw these in with the kale and the spinach. Also, it's been about 5 minutes and this is what my chia seeds are looking like. You can see that they've plumped up. They're kind of taking over the whole jar. That's what you want. And I'm going to be taking a little bit of ginger and I'm going to cut it down and stick that in with the tea because ginger is amazing. Tastes good, great for you. So I'm just going to take off the skin and I'm going to kind of do this rough chop. It doesn't need to be perfect. I don't use recipes. I'm not a perfectionist. For that reason, sometimes things don't come out great, especially when you try to bake. But for cooking and just throwing stuff together, you got to use intuition, kind of get used to ingredients, experiment, find your confidence and your stride, and you'll be able to make amazing food without even really knowing what you're doing. It just kind of will come naturally the more you practice. So maybe if you're not too sure of yourself in the beginning, use recipes and then start to stray away a little bit more, put in your own additions. If you try to make this at home, use whatever you'd like, you know. You don't have to stick to what I'm doing. Use your favorite vegetables if you have cauliflower around or carrots, broccoli, whatever you're interested in. Asparagus would be great. Just salads are easy and they're totally customizable. I'm going to be taking these gingers, sticking them in, And I won't be eating the ginger. I'm just going to be letting it absorb and release. So I'm going to give that a little shake. And they'll just probably sink to the bottom, away from the chia seeds. So I've got my zucchini noodles sweating it out. I'm going to give these another stir. Yep, I can see some of the liquid is coming out of them. They're going to become very soft and tender, very noodle-like. Okay, and finally I need to cut up my onion. I like red onions more than white onions. That's just a personal preference. You can use whatever you want. You can omit the onion. One thing to know about onions though, or I guess there are many things to know, but two things that I want to talk about are when you cut off the base that has the root, you can plant this. This will grow similar to celery or an avocado pit or potato with the eyes or ginger. That's so curious. A lot of these things that I have right now and the garlic can grow an entirely new plant from the kitchen scraps. So you can take this and kind of cut away. You want to cut off more of this organic material because that's just going to rot. But you want to leave the roots alone. You want to stick it into dirt and you want to water it. And I will put a link below and you can check that out. This will grow an entirely new onion. So you don't need to always go to the store or keep growing new onions. You can just take your old onion, use that to get a new one. So you peel it, dice it up really nicely, and one thing that I need to tell you about onions is that you should use them in one single swoop. You should not use half an onion and save it because onions have this curious phenomenon of absorbing whatever is around them. So I'm starting to cry. If you put them in the fridge, even in a container, they can absorb all of the pathogens and toxins or whatever's going on if there's mold around, and it just can get you sick. So you really don't want to leave the onion out for a long time. You want to use it within an hour or so. So if you don't need to use the whole onion, I recommend making a second item or just tossing it, really. You don't want to keep the onion. I am totally crying. This is embarrassing. Okay. So I'm going to quickly get this out of here, and I'm going to go fry it up in my coconut oil, and I will be back to show you and compile the whole thing and show you the finished result. And I'm just going to swoop all of my ingredients. So I just got back from the kitchen. What I did was blanch the potatoes really quickly, maybe about 3 minutes in boiling water. Then I drained that, I added the onions, and I put in the coconut oil, and I fried it up. And it took about maybe 7 to 10 minutes, and then once it was kind of frying and crispy getting, I put in a little bit of smoked paprika and the garlic, and I left that on for another minute or two. And it's amazing. I couldn't be happier. It's so good. So I'm going to be adding this to my jar along with the zucchini noodles. I tossed the zucchini noodles, the beets, the spinach, and the kale together. And this is the raw aspect, and then this is the a little more decadent, a little more naughty aspect. And I'm going to mix that up together, and it's just dinner in a jar ready to go, portable. You know, it's good for active lifestyle. I'm going to eat about half of this while I'm out, and then I'm going to come home later and I'm going to enjoy it in bed with a movie, just relaxing. And it's really just the perfect autumn, amazing, nutritious, so good dinner. And I'm going to be adding my sauces and a little bit of extra, some secret ingredients that are going to make it even more healthy. So I'm not going to bother putting all of this. It's taking too long, but you get the idea. I'm just going to incorporate this together, and it's going to steam up the spinach slightly. It's not going to totally cook it, so I'm okay with that. And let me try this. Oh my god. It's so good. It's oniony. It has the slightest hint of coconut, and then the spinach is just crunchy and delicious. I'm going to be adding, hopefully this is a good one, this avocado. Yay, it is! So I'm going to be slicing up this doti and just dropping it in on the top. And that's going to add even more fat and make it even more delicious. This is not the kind of salad that you want to have every day because of the high fat content, but you know, that being said, these are all the good kind of fats. This isn't like dairy or saturated, high processed fat. This is delicious, raw, unfiltered, cold pressed coconut. And avocado is amazing. It has fiber, omega. It's full of all these vitamins and nutrients, minerals, just so good. Not to mention, it tastes amazing. So this is Bragg's liquid aminos mixed with sriracha hot sauce, mixed with a little bit of black cherry syrup. And I'm really excited for that. So I'm just going to pour that on. That's going to kind of meld everything, join it together. And then on top of that, I'm going to be adding some flax seeds. And that's just a little pop of protein happening. I really do wish that I had either some black beans or some sprouted garbanzo to add to this, and that would just make it an utterly, like, unstoppable, like a 10 out of 10 on the healthy factor, but I don't have any of those available. I'm going to be adding some of these to make up for it, and it's going to add some crunch and some interesting texture. And then I've got my nutritional yeast, which is a vitamin B12 supplement for vegetarians and vegans, and it's one of the only plant sources of that. Ooh, too much. I was going to grab the fork to get it to kind of like coax it out, and that's okay. I love it. Some people think it's cheesy. It's not to me, but it's just, how do I describe it if you've never had? I like to put it on popcorn. It's rich. It's a little salty. It's definitely like a savory, kind of like a cheddar cheese, I guess, if you were trying to find a substitution. Kind of like that flavor. And I'm just going to mix it all together, and the more add-ons I put in this, the less and less appetizing it's going to be. Like, it's not going to be visually amazing, but it's going to taste like nobody's business. Oh my gosh. I'm going to grab, this is a bite that has everything. Okay, here we go. Wow. It is so good. Salad in a jar. It's looking like a mess, but that's okay. I'm going to finish adding the potatoes and onions. And then I've just got my meal all ready to go. I'd say start to finish, this took about 20 minutes, mostly because I'm having to talk and it's awkward. But yeah, this is a quick, easy, simple, nutritious way to feed your whole family, just yourself, doesn't matter. You could make a lot, a little, and you know, it's customizable. Put whatever you want in it, whatever you like, and wow. I'm pretty happy with this. And then I've got my chia. You can see how big the seeds have expanded to about half of the jar. This bottle is now full of ginger, antioxidants, protein. It's just, that tastes so amazingly good. These together, this is what it's all about. This is my recommendation. This is my gift to you. I hope that you eat it. If you do, post pictures, let me know. If you find anything to add that is supreme and amazing, let me know, and maybe I will put it in my next salad and we can all share. And I love you guys. I love that I have to go. I have to eat this. I can't even think straight. This is making me a little crazy. It's got beet, spinach, kale, zucchini, potato, garlic, onion, nutritional yeast, just, it's chock full of everything good that you could ever want, and basically nothing bad. This is the go-to holy kale of, you know, go-to dinners. I love it, I love it, I love it. I'll talk to you guys later, and happy cooking, happy health, and happy weekend! Big thank you to Full Circle. I wanted to give them a shout out. They provided all the produce that I used here today except for the spinach. So everything else came from them, and it's all local, organic, and very fresh and delicious. And it's just a farm box delivery service. They can deliver produce to you every week right to your door. You can change the order size. You can customize exactly what you're getting. You can swap in certain things that you do want or don't want. And it's been great. They've been sending me these boxes and it's very convenient and I've loved it, and I'm hoping to do a few more food tutorials with their stuff. So thank you, Full Circle, and I look forward to seeing you guys very soon.